Now I'm just going to tell you the various methods to take the remote of these instances. So various. So for Windows, we have the only RDP method, whether you're using Mac machine or you're using Windows machine. So you should use only the RDP to take the remote of your Windows machine. Okay, but in case of Linux machine, if you want, you have some various methods to take the remote. The same key can be used for the Linux as well as for the Windows, right? So key pair is not for operating system specific. Let's say this is your EC2 instance. I'm telling you. So I need to design it. Let's say this is the EC2 instance. And I want to use a different methods to take the remote of this instance. This is what? This is your EC2 instance. EC2 instance. Right. And I'm going to use a different methods. I can write here. First is, terminal emulation tools. Terminal emulation tool. So under this terminal emulation tool, we have a method called, just a minute. We have one software called mobexterm. And mobexterm uses .pem key. It uses .pem private key, .pem key to take remote, right? Secondly, we have putty. We have putty tool, right? Putty tool, you can say putty. And under the putty, but it uses .ppk format file to take remote. Okay, so it is a little different from mobexterm, because by default we have key in a PEM format. So we recommend to use mobexterm. So for me, mobexterm is more easy as compared to putty tool, because putty does support to PPK format file, right? It does support to PPK format file. And my file, my private key was available in PEM format. It means if you want to use putty, so you have to convert .pem key into .ppk format first. Then you would use this putty, isn't it? Because if you want to use putty tool, you have to convert that PEM key into PPK format, then only you will use this PPK format. So .pem key is a private key, and you use this key to take the remote of this instance. .pem key is a private key, right? It's a private key. Okay, perfect. We are a little slow here because I know that some of you are new for this platform, even though, yeah, the first method is terminal emulation software. So you can use a terminal emulation software to take the remote. The first is mobexterm. You can use, okay. You can use putty, great. You can use AWS Management Console. Okay, that I already demonstrated you. AWS Management console. Okay, so this is another method. You have used the connect method from AWS Management Console, right? And you can use also Windows PowerShell. Windows PowerShell. So this is another method. You can also use this method to take the remote of, and you can use even directly Linux machines or Linux machines command line interface, right? You can use Linux CLI to take remote of Linux instances, right? So this is another method. Wow. So how many methods you have? Number one, you can use Mobex term, you can use Putty tool. These both types comes under terminal emulation tool. So we have used only AWS Management Console as of now. So I'm just going to tell you first of all what is a Mobex term and how you could use this Putty tool, and then later on Windows PowerShell, and finally the same command can be used here with Linux. Great. So how to use a PowerShell to take the remote of Linux instance? So number one, go and just write PowerShell. Just open the PowerShell, and you should have actually the path of the key where you have stored, where exactly you stored in your EC2, in your host machine, right? So you will write a command, and the first of all you'll see, yeah, you can see download here. So my key is in downloads. So you will change the directory download and press enter. Now you are in download, and you will write a command. Let's say you will write a command SSH. Please do write, because I'm taking the remote of Linux machine, and that's why you will choose SSH command. And now SSH command does support on Windows 10. SSH space -I. I for I, you are using I to insert private key. Intel 25, press tab, automatically the complete name with path will come, right? And just do write the username of your EC2 instance. So what was the username? The username was EC2-user. So this was the default username. Okay, and press @ and you can write here the IP address of your Linux instance. So what was the public IP address of your Linux instance? You go back here and just click on Linux instance, and this is your public IP address of your Linux instance. Yeah, you can copy this. So we have a copy sign here. You click on this copy sign here, go back and just paste that public IP address. So this is a command, right? What is the command? I'm just going to write here SSH space -I dot / Intel 25 May dot pem, just a minute, EC2 -user @ and IP address was 54.87.229.176. So this is the command. Press enter. Yeah, press enter. It will ask you to say yes. Say yes to see the fingerprints and press yes. And you would see I took the remote of Linux instance using Windows PowerShell. It's easy, right? So you can exit from here if you want to exit. Yeah, it's pretty straight, right? So this was the command. You will use this command. You will copy this command, right? Can we try on a CMD here? I didn't use actually CMD. Let me see. Can we use the same command on CMD? Yeah, it actually says, okay. Let me see. CD. Sorry. First of all, you should be in the same directory where your download key exists, right? You can just paste this. Yeah, you took even you can use CMD. Did you see that? Yeah. So you're going to use both CMD as well as Windows PowerShell using Windows 10 machine. Next is, I'm telling you, means the management console and PowerShell is clear. And the same command you will use with your line from the Linux instance. If your host machine is a Linux instance, if your host machine is a Linux machine, so instead of Windows 10, if you're using, let's say, Red Hat Linux or Ubuntu Linux or CentOS Linux, in that case, the same command you will use, right? The same command that you have already used in Windows PowerShell case. Now, guys, I'm going to use mobexterm. Okay, guys, what is a mobexterm? Mobexterm is a tool that you would use to take the remote of Linux instance. So I'll be using this mobexterm. Mobexterm is a very small software. Download mobexterm if you don't have mobexterm in your machine. So just do write mobexterm for Windows 10 and just open this link. We have two editions here. We have two different kind of version. You will select only portable edition here. So portable edition, right? You should choose the portable edition. So once you choose the portable edition and download, so let's say this is the one file, mobexterm personal.exe. Double click on this and your mobexterm will be started. Right, your mobexterm has been started. Do you see? So this is the mobexterm. This is the mobexterm screen, and a leftmost corner on the top. Leftmost corner on the top, we have a button session. Right, we have a button session. You click on session here. Right, as you click on a session, the session setting pop-up will appear. And we have an SSH protocol because to take the remote of Linux machine, we will use SSH. So click on SSH and you need to write the public IP address of your instance as well as the username of the instance. So what is the public IP address of the instance? So let me show you. So this is the Linux instance and this is the public IP address of the instance. You will use the public IP address of the instance. You go back to mobexterm under a remote host, you will paste public IP address of the instance, right? And now specify username. Specify username. Just write EC2-user. Just write EC2-user. So you provided public IP address of the instance, user name of the instance, and finally you have to provide the key, private key path of the instance that you have used in this. So we have an advanced SSH setting. Under advanced SSH setting, click here, and the very last option, we have use private key. So select the use private key and browse the key. Here we have a little icon to browse the key. Now click on this. You go to download and this was the key name, intel25may.pem. You will select appropriate key name and press open And once all these three informations are provided, press on OK. If this information is correct, you will find you took the remote of this instance successfully. Did you see that? Is it difficult? Of course not. It's a matter of practice. You must have this MobX term installed on your machine. You just open it, just start the session, provide IP address, username, and the path of the key. Right, simple. Number one, close it. I'm just closing it. Now the second is putty. So you must have putty with you, guys. So I installed the putty in my computer. I have putty. You can also install, you can download this. And the very first thing, because I told you, if you are using putty, putty does support 2.pem key. But right now, it does support to PPK key. But right now, we have the key in a .pem format. So first of all, you have to change the key into .ppk format. Then only you would use. Because putty does support to .ppk format private key. Correct? So how to convert the key first of all? You go and we have in the putty, in putty, we have a program called puttygen.exe. Right. So double click on puttygen.exe. So this will open putty key generator. So you will use that particular key that you want to convert. So just click on load and use the key name. So what was the key name? What was the key name? The key name was Intel 25 mate.pem. You will use this key. Right now it's in a PEM format. Open. And once it is loaded, now you will click on save as a private key. So click on save private key. So, and just press yes. And just use this all keys and you give the name and change its format to PPK. You will write the format as a PPK, correct? The name will, the initial name will remain same and the extension should be .ppk. Once it is done, click on save. So this has been saved, right? So close it. So if you want to confirm, you go there and go to downloads. And now you can see you have an Intel 25 mate.ppk format file, correct? So you have changed this key. So once the key is changed, again, go to the same putty folder. And this time you will start putty.exe. So you are starting this putty. So as you open the putty configuration pop-up, so very first under the host name, you have to provide the public IP address, this public IP address here of the machine. You will just paste the public IP address. It is working on port number 22. And here left hand side under connection, we have data. Click on data and provide the username of the instance, EC2-user, right? There must not be any spelling mistake. And now under SSH, under connection, we have an SSH, open it, and we have an auth, AUTH. Just click on auth, and the right hand side, very last, we have a browse option. Just click on a browse to just provide a precise path of your PPK file. Browse, and this is your PPK file. Select the PPK file, open, and just click on an open button if everything is provided. So three information is provided: public IP address, username, and the path of the instance or the path of this PPK, right? And now click on open. If everything is okay, you will say yes. So you will see you successfully took the remote of the instance using putty. Great.